guys, welcome to Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. As the dating wars continue, guys versus gals, and women trying to either con, screw over, fool, trick, or just in general hate on men, guys are finally, they're getting their revenge. And every once in a while, I do a video on this kind of content saying, hey, the guys are winning this battle here. And I guess inevitably I get some pushback, but I think a lot of guys actually agree that, yeah, we're winning this battle. And why is that? Because while men think with both their heads, the big one and the little one, there's post-nut clarity and there's not thinking with the little head, and then the big head prevails, and they use logic and sense to preserve themselves and their money and their status in life and how well they're doing in life. Where women don't have that advantage. Women think with their emotions all the time. It never goes away. There is no post-nut emotional clarity for women. And so they get caught up in their own problems. And we're going to start seeing this more and more. And women are now outing themselves, showing these problems and bragging about it for validation. I've got a whole bunch of clips that I'm going to run through today and kind of, again, show you that we're doing the right thing, as hard as it may be, by not simping, by not dating, by not giving thirsty girls attention online, by doing your own thing, even though we're going through kind of a rough patch when it comes to relationship and dating and sex and all the other things for a lot of men today. Standing your ground and doing the right thing is winning the day. And what happens when women start to lose is, well, there's no accountability, as we know. I've got another video I'll be doing today about accountability. There's no accountability. They have to blame everybody else, and inevitably they lose. So if you, I was going to do this as an intro clip, which is this clip right here. But and this is not hate against Pearl, nor is this love of Pearl. This is just me reporting on Pearl Davis from Just Pearly Things here on YouTube. She's got a big channel. A lot of people watch her content. But even she is failing to live by her own rules. Why? Because she's ruled by emotion and not logic. She comes out quite often and says, women, you're most valuable when you're young and you're fertile and you're pretty at your prettiest and your peak of whatever. And guys don't care about the money you own or what you have. And guys don't care about your material. Guys want young and they want all the things, right, that we talk about here. She knows this, but emotionally, she can't settle for a guy. So what's happening to her is the same thing that's happening to the rest of these women. And again, these are a bunch of little snippets, so I'm not going to stay on any topic for very long, but I'm painting the whole picture for you so that you get an idea that it's not just one or two or 5 or 10, it's all the sources are basically saying women are not happy, women have dug themselves a hole they can't get out of, and the guys know this. And because the men are now aware of it, they still may make some dumb decisions. They still may make mistakes, but at least they understand why and what happened when they made that mistake. So this is from Twitter, Pearl Davis. The next time somebody asks me what I bring to the table, I'm going to say approximately 9 acres because my dad bought a neighborhood for my family when we all get married. Pearl is going against her own advice here because she knows a guy doesn't care about 9 acres. A guy doesn't care if a neighborhood's been purchased so that if he marries Pearl, he gets 9 acres of, like, what is this, a dowry? I think 9 acres of land and they can build a house on it and take care of it. Guys don't care about that. She knows that, or she says she knows that by the videos that she puts out. She constantly is talking about how men want, chastity and women with not a high body count and that are young and that are pretty and that are non-problematic. But then Pearl herself comes out with attitude, understanding that she's very close to 30 now. She doesn't have any dating prospects. And she realizes now she's becoming the woman that she so futilely rages about. This is the video that she makes this comment from.
Hello. Wait, hold on. We can toil away out here. I'm sure you can grow something. Looks fade. But this land lasts a lifetime, so you know.
So she's not selling herself anymore. She's selling the land. This is the same thing when a woman says, yes, I know I'm 40 and I can't have children anymore and I've got wrinkles and I'm not aging very well and I gave my best years to other men. But I have a house and I have my own car and I have a good job. And guys say, yeah, we don't care because none of those things are given to us. Like we don't own them. Pearl's doing the same thing that the other women do. She's just saying, well, I'm going to keep following my emotions. I'm going to keep dating. I'm going to keep doing whatever I'm doing. And she's slowly becoming the woman that she so incessantly rages about. I brought this up as well because this is a meme that I found on 9gag. That's the number 9, GAG. They post memes. Then they have political memes, and they have funny memes, and they have relationship memes. This was posted under funny, not relationship. And I think at the time it had 7, 8, 9,000 likes on it and a couple hundred comments. And the comments were very much in support of it. Now, yes, there were a few, I don't know, blue pill guys on there that were arguing, but I would say the vast majority of the comments on there were in support of this. This is the meme of it was an interview, and I'm not going to get into the whole background of the meme, but it's a guy that's saying, the woman says something that's dishonest, and he keeps saying, be honest to her, and she finally admits, she says, well, I came from a working class background, and he's like, be honest. She says, no, we didn't have much money, be honest. Okay, yes, my father dropped us off at school in a Bentley. And he's like, thank you. That's the original meme. Well, here she says there are no good men left. And he says, be honest. She says, I am being honest. Men don't want to settle down these days. And the guy once again says, I said honest. And she said, okay, I wanted to marry a top 0.1%er despite being average. And I couldn't adjust my expectations until it was way too late. And he says, thank you. The reason why I bring up this meme is if this was posted from a men's content channel, you expect to see stuff like this. But when you start seeing it dumping out into regular meme pages about how women's selective choices are working against their own worst interest, and everybody is aware of it, women are having a problem. Guys have caught on to their ridiculousness, not just men in this community, men in general. So much so that it's even hitting Fox News. Now, I'm not saying that Fox News is all that in a bag of chips, but let me bring up this Fox News segment here. This is Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters, he's conservative, and he did a little stint here, a little recap about dating and masculinity. And he said, in his mind, and rightfully so, he says, I've always paid for dates. Like, I think guys should pay for dates. And most guys actually were fine with that until women said, we want equality. And just because you pay for dinner doesn't mean you get anything. And we want to be equal to men. And the guys say, okay, you get what you want. Now we'll go Dutch on all the dinners. And we won't uphold traditional stereotypes. And then the women say, well, actually, yes, I want traditional stereotypes, but I'm not going to be a traditional woman. Well, now it's made it to the mainstream news. We're going to listen to the rest of this segment from Jesse Waters.
Anymore. Droves of women say they're done going Dutch.
I expect a man to pay for the date. Yes, the whole entire date. That includes my Uber to the date and my Uber back to my house. Because if you can't afford dinner and an Uber, my transportation, you certainly can't afford kids. You certainly can't afford a house.
This is the common, this is a job application. Well, if you won't pay for my Uber to the date and my drinks and dinner and my Uber home, then you can, and let's not go crazy on, obviously she's not your typical extremely good looking woman. So when you've got very average, if not below average, women coming out and saying, no, we're interviewing you. And you must prove yourself by paying for my Uber, paying for all the things we do that night, and paying for my Uber back home, or else you can't afford kids. This is what they're saying before you even go out on the first date. And men's response to this is, well, you wanted things to be even. You wanted them to be equal. You wanted to be just as responsible and have as much money as a man and have all the things that men have. So now you can have some of the accountability and the financial responsibility like a man does. Then the women snap back over to, well, I want a traditional man. What's a traditional man? A protector, a provider, a guy that's going to take care of me and the family. Oh, so are you coming to us at a young age with youth and beauty and chastity? Or are you coming to us with a high body count and an only fools account? And the women say, well, yeah, but I want to be strong and independent. Okay, then you don't need me to pay for the bills. Well, I want you to be traditional. So you want me to pay these things? Yes. Okay, then you need to be a traditional woman. I don't want to be a traditional woman. And it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth forever. There's only one group of people that is ever going to break this cycle, and that's men. And so now men are doing that. Men are saying, okay, are you a traditional woman? No. Okay, then I'm not a traditional guy. I'm not gonna treat you as a traditional guy. And if a woman says, well, I am traditional. Okay, tell me some things that are traditional. And everything they mention is not traditional. And this is leaking out everywhere. It's all over the place. And this is a good thing. Because it means that men's message, men's complaints, men's reasons for not dating, not marrying, and not putting up with this is making it to the mainstream. He's got more to say on this, and we're going to listen to that here.
Even the media is starting to reverse course, but not in the way you'd think. The LA Times posing this question: should men pay on dates as reparations for the gender wage gap?
So instead of saying, I want a traditional man, and I'm a traditional woman, instead of saying that, now women are saying, well, I want you to pay because you owe me because of the wage gap. Now, I don't know about you. When every job I've ever sat down with and interviewed and negotiated salary, at no point did the words woman, women, or even other people come into the negotiations. I didn't say, what does everybody else here get paid? I said, what do you pay? Period. And they give me a number, and I either say that's way too low, but thanks for the interview, or I say, I was thinking more of this, and you negotiate, or it's way more than you expected, and you say, I'll think about it, and then you rub your hands greedily as you sit in the car cheering because you're going to get a good salary, and then you contact them in 24, 48 hours and say, well, after some deliberation, I've decided to take it. That's the game. But women are, this is at the end around. This is written by a Jean Guerrero. This is a woman writing this, and she says, well, we want to be modern women, but we want you to pay for things like a traditional man, but we won't call it traditional. We'll just say it's part of the gender wage gap. Well, I've never employed anybody. I'm not responsible for any gaps in any pay anywhere ever. So I'm not responsible for it. So I'm not going to pay any type of reparation for any of that stuff. And neither are other guys. This is an emotional end around. Now, yes, they're trying to sound like they're being logical, but we know it's nonsense. This is an emotional end around to get back to the starting point of give me what I want without me having to do what you want me to do. And because of that, guys are waking up, and it's going out in the LA Times. Of course, men shouldn't pay on dates because of some gap. Because that's not only has that been completely debunked and blown out of the water, but it's the fact that they want what they want without doing what others want of them. It's selfish. It's like a child. It's like a grown-up adult that is a child. That is many of these women.
So start saving, guys. We owe reparations to blacks and women now. But I think the better question is, why are guys letting women pay for dinner? Let's ask dating connoisseur Julia Rose. All right, Julia, is this a thing now? Because I always paid when I was dating. Are people splitting the bill now?
I sure hope not. I mean, not the dates that I've been on. I mean, listen, girls are going to offer, right? Because that's the polite thing to do. But about the man. Is he going to let the girl pay? Oh,
Yeah, if you offer,
looks
that's
good for the
nice.
girls.
It's nice if you offer. It's cute. It's kind of funny, but we don't take it seriously. But are guys actually doing this these days? Because this girl was shocked the guy handed her the card.
I mean, I guess some guys are splitting the bill because a lot of women are offering. I know that. I feel like more women are offering, but I guess, I mean, I don't know what kind of guy's going to let a woman pay on the first date.
What kind of man's going to... Well, women overwhelmingly vote left. They overwhelmingly vote for everybody being equitable, everything being even, everything split equally, everything handed out equally, everybody having equal end results, not equal opportunities, equal end results. Well, the end result of that is you paying for yourself and your half. But women don't like that because they only want to support the things that give to them. They don't want anything that takes from them. Women want salaries on par with men. But then when it comes time to spend money, women say the guy should spend for the dates and the dinners and all the things. You need to court me. And when the guys say, well, why? Women have all sorts of excuses. What's interesting is my favorite one, and I think she says it in this interview, is, well, I have to spend a lot of money on makeup, so I look pretty. Well, that's a bad sign. That's actually not good if you need a lot of makeup. Most guys, when asked, don't want women to wear a lot of makeup. Oh, well, I've got to do body scrubs and loofahs and perfume, and okay, I've got beard oils and I've got shaving kits, and I also have to smell nice. Yeah, but my nails and my this. Okay, I have to drive a nice car. You won't let a guy in a ratty car come pick you up. That car is more expensive than your makeup. Oh, well, yeah, but I have my own, and it's always an argument. It's always a fight. We want it one way, but we also want it this other way. And the two will never meet. And that's why women are going to lose this. Women are losing this because they come at it from an emotional standpoint instead of a logical one. Where guys get in trouble is when they see a girl like this and they're all horned up and they're like, oh man, I'd love to take her out and take her back to her place and do the Thunderstroke 3000 on her. I get very excited for that. And they go out and they spend way too much money and they go out of their way and they fawn all over her. And then it doesn't happen. Or let's say it does happen. Then he clears his brain, a little post-nut clarity, and he says, you know something? That's really expensive. This is a lot of effort, and that return was very minimal. I'm not going to do that again. Or, and I know, as many of you guys watch this video, I know this is going to resonate with a couple of you. You got to hook up or a date or something across town. You're supposed to go out, have a dinner with her, maybe later on get a little frisky back at her place or your place or whatever, and you decide, hey, okay, we're on. And then an hour or two before the date, you say, you know what, I'm going to get a little post-nut clarity. I'm going to crank one out real quick. And you do, and then you're like, you know, I'm not even going to bother with that date. I don't want to bother getting dressed up, going out, spending 2-3 hours listening to her drone on about something I don't care about, spending $100-200 on her, and then getting a piece and coming home. Like, I don't have that urgency anymore. That has miraculously left my body. I'm going to go ahead and stay home, watch a movie, or play video games with your friends, or go hang out with the dudes instead. Like, cancel on her and go meet the guys out at a bar to watch a sporting event. I know at least one of you out of the hundreds of thousands have gone, yep, I've done that. I might more likely probably think it's tens of thousands of you that have said, yeah, I've done that at least once in my life. Women don't have that advantage. They don't have this moment of clarity where they can say, okay, I'm going to stop being emotional, and now I'm going to think about this logically. All they are is emotion. Men, they're very emotional when it comes to definitely wanting to get laid until they take that off the table, and then they're like, wow, okay, now I can think about this more clearly. Women do not have that advantage. So again, now she says, guys aren't like that with me. Well, she's probably dating very attractive, very successful guys where $100 or $200 dinner to them is an hour of work. So it's not that big a deal. But if you take your Walmart employee or your guy that works at McDonald's or maybe just an electrician that makes $15 an hour. And she says, well, this date is going to, it's going to run us, or maybe she doesn't say, but the date will cost you $100 or $200. You may say to yourself, like, okay, that's almost at $15 an hour, a dinner date that's $20 or $200. Man, that's a ton of money. I mean, that's what, 15 hours of work. Is it worth me working? No, it's more than that because of taxes. That's 20 hours of work. After taxes, that equals me being able to take her out for one date. Is that worth it? Whole lot of guys are saying no. Now, maybe for the bedroom portion of it, it might actually be worth it. She's pretty. Maybe some of you find her attractive. And you say, yeah, for that, I'd definitely take her out. But that's only the fool around portion of it. What about the other time you have to listen to her and you have to find conversation and she wants to go to this other place and she needs a couple more drinks to relax and this and that, and all of a sudden the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
The date's not going to go well if that happens. Are men expected to pay, what's the ballpark for a dinner now? What do you think they run?
I mean, listen.
100, 250,
listen.
350, depending on wine?
I mean, what is a beautiful woman? Priceless. Come on now. It's in the fine print. I guarantee you that woman, before that date, has exfoliated and shaved every inch of her body. And what is that worth? Come on. More than a dinner.
It's worth 5 or 10 minutes of time. To exfoliate is literally taking those stupid-ass loofahs, rubbing it over your face and your body, whipping out a razor, hitting the pits, hitting the legs, and hitting her mustache if she has one. What's that, 15 or 20 minutes? So you're going to say that's priceless? That's worth $200, $300, $400 dinner? So if that takes 20 minutes, you're saying you're worth $1,200 an hour? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, sir.
I don't think so. So this is the problem that women are running into, is now she's equating the value of the dinner versus the value of her in a monetary sense. And the correct way to do it, if you're really interested in somebody, if you really want to get to know him, she should say, it's not about the dinner. It's not about how much he spends on the date. It's not about how much I spend on my lip gloss and my eyebrow threading. It's about getting to know somebody. And so if she were to turn around and say, hey, you know what? I'm fine with meeting somebody, meeting a guy in a park or for a cup of coffee or something simple for the first couple dates to see if we're even hitting it off before a guy writes a big check, before he starts whipping out the cash. If she had said that, she wouldn't be in this segment. I wouldn't be talking about her. But she doesn't. She starts equating her value versus dollar amount. Now, where I come from, we kind of think of that as being a professional. It's always about the money. And the reason why women are doing that is because they make their own money now, and they're trying to tie the two values together. Well, I'm a high-value woman. Why are you high value? Well, I make a lot of money, and I'm pretty, and I go through all this effort for the guy. Okay, well, he's worth good money. He's obviously attractive, and he's going through effort to look good for you on a date. Isn't that a tie? Oh, no, it's much different, you see, because I'm a woman. That's failing. That's failing the sniff test. That's failing because guys are saying, you know what, this isn't making so much sense. This doesn't really work out very well.
Okay, and apparently it's the Uber ride too. Because if we can't afford an Uber,
more than an Uber ride,
we can't afford kids. So how?
By the way, she does not have an engagement or a wedding ring on her finger. Say it with me, everybody. Are you shocked?
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Of course not.
Elaborate are we talking about
That is
now?
true.
Seriously, what are we talking? We're talking dinner. We're talking drinks. We're talking after dinner drinks.
we're talking lobster, we're talking caviar, we're talking all of it. This is a woman you're taking on a date. These are first impressions. A date is like a job interview, you know, and the woman is interviewing you. Are you like, what kind of impression do you want to leave?
But aren't we interviewing her as well? The answer to that is no. She doesn't believe so. Because she sees herself as the prize, and you have to work to get the prize. But what is the prize? Again, at one point in time, it was youth, it was beauty, it was chastity, it was her treating you well, it was her being a traditional woman. But now there is no catch. She brings her own, she's not a catch, I should say. She's not traditional, she's got the body count, she's not young. Now, in this case, she's pretty. But you have to, it's harder to be a high-value male. Because, yes, she's pretty. Yeah, and I'm not saying I necessarily find her pretty. I mean, just in general. She's a pretty woman. I'm sure she gets a lot of attention. Yep, she's definitely got fake lashes on and has done her eyebrows and pays for lip gloss, and she looks to be thin and in pretty good shape. That's the bare minimum. Guys have to do the same thing. I mean, you look at Jesse here. I bet he's on national TV. He's not a horrible-looking guy either. I bet he spends $200-300 on his haircut. I guarantee you he has a makeup team to help him out, same as she has a makeup team probably to help her out. He makes good money. He's popular. He's well-known. What's the difference? See, because if these two were out on a date, he could just as easily say, oh, but I'm interviewing you as well. In reality, women refuse to look at the fact that men have as much value, if not more, than they do. They refuse to see it. And so they try to go along these lines of, oh, I'm a frail, delicate, beautiful flower, except she lost that flower bud probably 20 years ago. She's lost her youth. She's losing her beauty, and she's fine for now, but she's also got the baggage and the damage and the body count. And so really it's a two-way street, but women refuse to see that, and so they keep putting themselves up on the pedestal. The difference is guys are now not playing that game anymore. The guys that she will be with will only be with her for a brief amount of time to have some fun. And the guys that would put in the effort, they're beneath her. Guys see this now. More and more men are seeing this. That's why you're seeing things like memes. That's why guys are seeing this stuff, even out with Pearl from Pearly Things, saying, oh, well, men want this out of a woman. And it's like, okay, but you're not even bringing that to the table anymore. Like, you're aging out of the demographic you tell everybody that women should be getting into. And she's aging out. And what's she do? She starts finding excuses. Well, you get all this land that my father bought us if you marry me. Who cares?
Lobster on the first date, you know what comes after that, right?
Lobster, caviar, darling. Come on. Only the finest for these women.
Okay, I think half the country just went bankrupt. But that was good advice. Guys, open the wallet. You guys are priceless. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Dating connoisseur.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Dating connoisseur. What's that really mean? She's gone on a lot of dates. Can't settle for a guy. Can't find a guy. And that continues on even for quote-unquote average-looking girls. This girl, I would say, is very mid. And she decided to go on TikTok and record all the dates she went out on. Now, here's a surprise, guys. She even said she forgot a few. She's going on 2 to 3 dates a month. Now, this is dates. This doesn't include the hookups. This doesn't include the guys that she's gone on dates with previously that is still coming over to sleep with her. Those numbers are not in this. This is just the number of dates. And this is about 3 minutes long, but I am going to play through this because what I want you to hear is the number and the names. She goes on a couple, all of them are first dates. She goes on a couple for a second or a third date, but magically they don't work out. What happened? The guys probably slept with her. And they're like, done. I don't need to keep going. I got what I want. And the guys that did get second and third dates in, just like that, they're gone. I'll let her explain it, and you'll hear what I'm talking about here. Let me make sure my volume's up all the way.
I'm going to keep track of how many people I go on dates with in 2023. So this is my first one, January 17th. I'm going to get coffee at a restaurant with Arthur before my soccer game. It is January 26th, and I'm going out with Jesse. It is February 5th, and I'm going on a date with Champ at a bar down the street.
I am going on a second date with Champ. We're going out to lunch and getting ramen. Oh, and it's February 8th. Wait, no, 9th. Okay, we took a little break, had a situationship come back. That was a mistake. February 20th, going to a restaurant bar with Sean.
Situationship came back. So while she's going out and first dating all of these guys, and only one got a second date, then all of a sudden a situationship came back. Well, like women have said in their other ones, what is a situationship? It's a guy they're sleeping with. It's a guy that they're hooking up with. Maybe they've dated. It's an ex sometimes that they've dated previously. And she decided to hook back up with him. How did it turn out? It didn't. They hooked up for a while. He ghosted her again. And then he blew her off. And she's back on the singles market. You notice first date, hook up with an ex. Situationship for a week or two while she gets her folded up like Origami by Chad Thunderstroke, and then it's back to the singles market. And so when you guys wonder, I'm a good guy. I said all the right things. I did all the right things. We even went out on a date. Maybe we even hooked up. But she didn't call me back or she ghosted me. Why? This is why. 1,000 shampoo bottles and she can't settle on any of them. So she just has to keep shopping and going through them.
I am going to a coffee shop with, I forgot his name. Chris.
Couldn't even remember.
Forgot to say the date on the last one. That was March 4th. Today is April 12th. I maybe have a date with Danny, but he just texted me that he's in the ER and has to get stitches, so we'll see. I had an amazing date. I can't stop smiling. And he already texted me that he would love to do it again sometime. It's April 17th, and I'm going on a second date with Danny. We're going to get sushi. It's April 27th, and I'm going on a third date with Danny, and we're going to trivia night. To record this before I left, but I'm going on a date with Luke.
So what happened to Danny? 3 dates with Danny, and she was smiling. Oh, I can't stop smiling. I'm so excited. Danny. What happened after date 3? Danny's gone. Danny probably hit it and quit it and ghosted into the night. And then she turns right around. She's back on the market again.
To a rooftop bar, and it's July 18th. It's September 9th, and I'm going on a date with Will at a wine bar down the street. Today is October 9th, and I'm going on a date with Mike, who randomly came up to me in a bar and asked me out. Today is November 3rd, and a guy on Hinge asked me to go meet him and walk his dog with him. So I guess I'm gonna do that. His name is John. Today is December 1st, and I'm going on a date with Walker, who I met at an open mic night. He said, let's get Mai Tais, and then sent me a link to a Thai place. And I can't wait for him to find out. I had an awesome date the other day, and I'm very excited for the second one, but I already had this one lined up, so I'm gonna go anyway.
She had a very great first date. And then she got invited to a second date with a guy she really likes. And she blew him off because she had a new first date to go on. So instead of saying to the new first date, you know what, I've already got plans tonight, or I know we made plans tonight, but I've got to adjust, something came up. Instead of putting off the first date, she puts off the second date with a guy she really enjoyed to have a new rando first date.
I'm going bowling with Hassan, and it's December 3rd. Today is December 8th, and I'm going to a brewery down the street with Peter. Walker is the person from this video that I've liked the most this year, but he's just getting out of a relationship, so we're gonna give him some time, as disappointing as that is. Onward. December 9th, I'm going on a second date with Walker, and we're going to a comedy show. I had an awesome second date last night, but he's just getting out of a relationship and not really ready for anything, so I guess I have to keep dating. So it's December 10th, and I'm going out with Tyler, I think. Yes, Tyler, to a wine bar downtown. Today is December 31st, and I'm going on a date with no one, but it's the end of the year, here with my friends, and I had a really good year. See y'all in 2024.
So she had a great year, guys. there was only two guys out of all those dates that she went out with more than once. And one of them didn't go anywhere. It just 2-3 dates and then it's over. She doesn't mention it. What happened? They probably slept with her. She really liked him. He probably slept with her and then ghosted her. So she didn't talk anymore about that guy. But she was really excited for him. Why? Because he's really hot. He's probably very successful, very charismatic. So obviously he has a lot of women chasing her. So he had some fun with her for a couple of dates and moved on. What about the second guy, Walker? She went out 2 dates with him, but, she was very excited to be with him. So, of course, she slept with him. And then it turns out, well, he's not ready for a serious relationship. So moving on. What happened? She went on a lot of dates where she felt like she would have settled, and so there was no second date. She got the Uber rides paid for, the dinner paid for. Everything was good. Maybe she slept with a lot of them, maybe she didn't. Who knows? Doesn't matter. Point is, this is what happens. She didn't get the tingles. Or if she did, well, they had other plans, or they were doing other women, or they weren't ready to be serious. Both the guys that she went on 2-3 dates with, she was very excited about. They fizzled. They went nowhere. Why? Because those guys, they have all the options. And so she had her fun, and then they had their fun, and then she got dumped. So here we are within a year. I don't know how many names she named, but I'd say at least 1 to 2 a month. And nothing came out of it. And repeat the next year, and the next year, and the next year. Until it's too late. Until it's too late. This is from 2X Chromosomes, which is women on Reddit. And this is what she says, what my dating experience has been like as a woman. And she says, I've been on 29 dates in the last year, all with men in their late 20s, early 30s. I thought I would share my list of details of why it didn't work out with y'all. I would love to hear about other women's experiences. I grabbed some of them. Now remember, these are dates that she agreed to go out on, that she was asked and she went out on. Number 1, homeless by choice. That's all it says, homeless by choice. So I guess she didn't know he was homeless beforehand. I'd have a feeling you could smell him coming. But maybe he lived in his car and showered at the gym, at the YMCA. Chronic physical and mental health problems that were ongoing and untreated. The third, enjoyed Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson podcasts. Fourth one, struggled with drinking. Fifth, spent the entire date negging me. Actually kind of impressive how long he did this. Number 6, nice guy, but very avoidant, emotionally unavailable. Would probably have stayed in a situationship with me forever if I didn't break it off. So she's admitting he's a nice guy, he was emotionally unavailable, and we were in a situationship, which means she was sleeping with him. And then she decided to break it off. Completely misleading photos. The next guy had very low self-esteem, cried on the date, recently broken up with a long-term girlfriend, lied about his name twice. I don't blame guys for that, especially if you're trying to date and you think she might be crazy. He was against the jab mandates, lots of jokes about being women being bad drivers. Couldn't have a conversation to save his life. Pictures were misleading, and I'm just reading the top sentence of each one now. Arrogant and entitled. Nice guy, but not very intelligent. In other words, he was pretty. Arrogant, didn't ask a single question, and spent a large portion of his time telling me why being an engineer was the most difficult career known to man. Another guy that drank and had problems. Used to end small animals as a kid. That's definitely bad. Another one, 90% of the date talking about his love for bicycles. Another one tried to convince me how awful cats are. Another one, photos misleading. Another one, really great guy. Got my hopes up for this one, shared a lot of values. He was quite anxious, and I thought it would settle down, but he ended up having a bit of a freak out and called it off. So what happened there? He was a great guy. They probably were sleeping together. She wanted to maybe make something a little bit more serious, and he ended up freaking out and was like, I'm not in that good place in my life, and he bounced. Another guy ended up being poly. Okay. Another was in the Army and couldn't comprehend how this was a deal breaker. Another very, very anxious, signs of OCD. Another Jordan Peterson fan. Wanted kids, but didn't include it on his profile. as you can see, the quality of men that she's coming across is very poor, at least in her mind. Now, maybe the Joe Rogan fans and the Jordan Peterson fan wasn't a bad guy, but that's a deal breaker right off the bat. Oh, you're military? Deal breaker. You're a cop? Deal breaker. You're conservative? Deal breaker. You're against the jabs? Deal breaker. Oh, you're not for this protest? Deal breaker. You're not for free? Deal breaker, deal breaker, deal breaker. And some of them sounds like she slept with him. They're losing the narrative, and they're losing their control over the situationship. I just said that, didn't I? They're losing the control over the situation, period. And they end up having situationships instead of relationships. And they end up having hookups and one-night stands with the hot guys and the guys that really got them excited and tingles. And then those guys just disappeared. I don't think it was on her choice. I think those guys got what they wanted and moved on. And the rest of the guys were one and dones because they didn't get her excited. They didn't get the tingles. So who's losing? Well, if you ask me, if these are the guys that are in the dating market out there, if these are the guys that are out there, it's the women dating. If you ask this gal who's winning in the dating world, she's going to say, oh, I'm killing it. I'm going on lots of dates. But the guys that are winning, not the ones that did the one and done, because that cost them $100, $200 for nothing. It's the guys that slept with her. The guys that she was all tingles about, that bounced on her. You know, what about this gal? Is she winning? No. She's basically said she's expensive, that men should be paying for stuff. None of these women are winning. What about Pearl? Nope. She's fallen right into the demographic of saying what she makes fun of. And now you've got mainstream media coming out against the red pill content. TikTok ruined my husband of 12 years. Now he wants a trad wife and we're getting divorced. Now, as long as TikTok is talking about the LDHD TV community, talking about, whatever protests they have going on in the day, that's fine. There's not a lot of news articles written about that. But what about when TikTok starts telling men to man up and want a traditional wife and be strong? Well, that's bad. We need to write about that in the New York Post. They say on TikTok, the trad wife hashtag has clocked up a whopping 296 million views and has made unexpected stars out of several women who show off their happy home lives. In a Reddit post, the divorcing woman explained her husband happened upon the videos earlier this year. We are not a traditional couple, she explained. We both work, we both do chores and childcare. He didn't complain about it. He was a blue-pilled guy. She said, but around March this year, he started acting weird. He complained about how I looked. He complained about the food. He complained about my working hours. I work the same hours as he does. Throughout our marriage, he never had any complaints about the food I cook. I dress up in a more comfortable attire when I'm in my house. He never had a problem with it before. The devastated wife. Don't you love how they put in the adjectives and adverbs both? The devastated wife learned that her spouse had started becoming obsessed with one particular trad wife TikToker whom she did not name. Her content looked made up and not realistic to me because it was 100% made for the male audience. So a traditional woman that dressed nicely and talked about being home and being happy to serve her man had to be not realistic and made up because it was definitely made for the male audience, because she couldn't be happy being a stay-at-home wife who looked like a 1950s pinup woman and took care of the home and then took care of her husband when he got. Well, that couldn't be real. You can see how they put the spin on it. I told him this was all an act she puts on for the world to see. This is not reality. Plus, nobody cleans their house wearing pretty dresses. The dresses will get dirty. Well, perhaps. Yes, maybe perhaps this gal is trying to go viral for being the conservative trad housewife, with big chesticles and a 1950s spotted dress with makeup on, looking like, I think I know which one they're talking about, looking like Marilyn Monroe while she's supposedly doing laundry. Okay, but there's a problem. See, when things go viral and they get lots of views, more people emulate that. Well, when women are out there saying, I'm a boss bee and I make all the money and I'm strong, empowered, and wonderful, That goes viral, more women emulate it. But eventually, you're not unique. You're one of hundreds of millions of women doing the same thing as everybody else. And women need attention. Women need to separate themselves from all the rest to show that they're different and virtue signal and get all the likes. So one woman, and now more women, are saying, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to pretend that I'm a traditional housewife from the 1950s and look at all the attention I get from men saying they'd love a wife like me. And then more women see that and they say, I'm going to pretend too. Now remember, they're just pretending, the vast majority of them. But they will get the male gaze, the male attention. They get likes from men and they get hate from women. And they go viral. That's really what it's about. So of course, when it does go viral, we have to attack it. The difference is the New York Post here attacks it as, oh, well, this is bad. This content's bad. It's making women try to be conservative and trad wife. That's bad. We make fun of it because we know they're chameleons, that it's not real. They're pretending to be something they're not. And were you to actually marry this woman, I guarantee you she'd gain weight, stop cooking, and stop looking pretty for you. And you're not going to have your scotch and your slippers and your newspaper waiting for you when you walk in the front door. But by then it's too late. All this is women manipulating. It's all they do. They manipulate to get what they want. And if they can't get what they want by being themselves and telling the truth, then they start hiding body count. Then they start, all my previous boyfriends were bad and treated me awful. You're the first guy that's ever been sweet to me, and for that, you're special to me. Oh boy, a lot of people have fallen for that one. Because women, and this is done, if you look at psychology experiments, and I do not have them in front of me, but throughout time, men are the aggressors. Men are strong. Men are powerful. Men are dangerous, or at least they can be. They have the propensity to be. Women do not have any of those advantages. So what do women do? They manipulate men with emotion, with sex, with crying, with being scared. It's all emotion. And for a long time, myself included, that worked for us. That when you see a woman crying or being upset, you feel bad. You want to make that stop. It's uncomfortable. You don't want to make women upset. When you see a woman being angry, a lot of the times, especially blue pill guys, are let's settle down, let's calm this down. But the new age of men say, that's a trap. They're manipulating me. I'm not going to be manipulated anymore. You want to act a fool? Keep acting the fool. You can't fool me anymore. Eventually, more men than not will see what's going on and they will act appropriately. And in the end, women are going to end up being like this gal right here. Lots of dates. Those guys are maybe going to pay for coffee or whatever and see if they can get in her panties. And when they fail, they'll move on. When they succeed, they move on. She gets the tingles from these guys. These guys are liking the challenge. I bet you wouldn't want to know her body count. Trust me on that. But this is what more and more women are doing. And ultimately, it leads to women failing the dating market because their most powerful tool of being weak and being innocent and needing a strong protective man and being manipulative and being sad or using their sexuality as a tool, all of that is going away because it's being exposed. And young men are seeing it, and young men are learning it. Older guys are learning it, but usually they learn it through the school of hard knocks where it's happened to them. Now, more and more people are seeing women using it and gaslighting you and saying it right out in the open because they need to do it online because they got to get the attention for it. They're outing themselves. They always tell on themselves. And now they're doing it when it comes to dating, and they're losing all their power. I know for a lot of you guys, especially if you're the young guys that are in the dating years and you really want to get out there and you really want to have your fun. As I've said before, there's nothing wrong with dating, but you better be hitting the gym. You better be in shape. You better get yourself out there. And then if you fail, well, you understand why, because she's got 500 first dates and you were just one of them. Maybe you scored, maybe you didn't. But you're off her radar now. Nothing you did. Nothing any of them do in many cases. It's time to get new tingles. Time for that fresh dopamine hit. She didn't even remember a lot of the guys' names that she was going on the date with. Right? She's like, I'm going out the door on the date with, I forgot his name. Chris. And she did it again. Taylor. She's not interested in you. You're something to do. And if you're hot, maybe you get to sleep with her. Women are gonna lose. They're already losing. They're destined to lose because they don't have the advantage of the post-nut clarity. The hold on, I'm making some stupid mistakes here. Let me figure this out. Or they don't have the advantage of after a guy does the hardware store and screws nuts and bolts, then his post-nut clarity, she helped him achieve. And as he hits the front door and leaves, he's like, well, that was fun, but I'm not doing that again. And in the meantime, she's like, he was awesome, and I've got the tingles now for him. That interaction made her like him more and him be like, well, I'm done with this because he's got other options. This is a one-way street. In the end, there's only two ways out of this. Women correct their actions. They come back to finding traditional values and being better women for men, or they completely fall apart. They fight for getting the levers of power, and then they punish men for eternity. And I can tell you which one I think they're going to try, and it's going to be the second one. Guys, if you're over here on YouTube, I'm heading over to Locals. Actually, I'm already at Locals, which is me. But we're going to finish some more content over there. Don't forget, we got a World of Warcraft server. We got a Gilded server. We got other gaming servers. I think we got a Valheim server still going. We do gaming. We do forums. We do movie nights. We do football days. I just did the Bills-Dolphins game on Sunday as a live stream. So come over and join us for that. I think you really like the community. A lot of great like-minded guys over there. I think you'll enjoy it very much. And for those on YouTube, we will see you later.